In today's Quest for Wisdom, we will be looking at Proverbs 3, 1 through 4. We'll sum up what we learned today in 3 words: remember, prosper, and resume. First, remember. Proverbs 3:1 says this: My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. If we are going to achieve wisdom in any area, we are going to have to remember. We must remember the promises of God. We must remember, as this verse says, the commandments of God. As we build on the fear of God in our quest for wisdom, we first must gain knowledge. This knowledge of the ways of God needs to be retained in order for it to be understood and applied. A great way to remember is to memorize, to keep in our hearts the words of God. By memorizing Scripture, we progress faster in our walk with God. Secondly, prosper. When we remember and keep the ways of God, we receive the promise of verse 2. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. The natural result of our quest for wisdom is a prosperous life, defined as God does. There are precious rewards that God gives his children who walk close to him. Among other things, the long, peaceful life can be attained by following the ways of God. Finally, resume. Proverbs 3 and 4 says, Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thine heart. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man. Why resume? Because failure is a part of life and part of the wisdom process. God's solution for man's failure is his mercy and truth. Mercy helps us overcome our failures and get back up no matter how many times we've fallen down. Then we can see the truth as God sees it and continue toward the goal of obtaining God's wisdom. Imagine that on this great treasure hunt, you find yourself climbing up a dangerous bluff. You are likely to slip and fall along the way. But that doesn't have to end it. You must get up and resume, or you will never reach the treasure. God's mercy is unending. God is not waiting to beat us up over the head if we fail, but rather to reach out with his mercy to help us up again. The only thing that will keep you from God's mercy and favor and ultimately his wisdom is if you do not resume. Here's today's homework. Read Proverbs chapter 3 and find one verse that you understand in Proverbs 3 to memorize. I chose verse 3 and will quote it for you right now. Proverbs 3:3 says, and I'm not looking, Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thine heart. Don't ever give up in your quest for wisdom. No matter how often you fall, God has more than enough mercy to help you up again.